Yo, you're watching the Screaming Fish here, people, and once again I'm here for you guys with yet another video, and this time, as you can tell by the clearly very obvious title at the bottom of the screen, we are finally, well, I'm finally talking about The Last Jedi. I mean, you guys have probably already seen it. I kind of feel like I'm the last person to see it because, I mean, so many reviews have come up on YouTube already. But anyway, enough rambling on because I really want to talk to you guys about this movie. So, yeah, let's get on with this, extensive video, or at least I think it's extensive, depends how long this intro goes on for, but yeah, let's get to it. Well, it's finally here. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. It's freaking out, in cinemas, like, right now. Yeah, as you all know, I love Star Wars. It has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. So yeah, obviously I was excited for this movie. Also, I gotta apologize to you guys for not completing my Star Wars reviews leading up to The Last Jedi before the release of the actual Last Jedi movie, like I said I would, so my apologies, but rest assured I do plan to continue those videos somewhere down the road. But I've just had a lot on my plate recently, and I haven't had a lot of time to work on my channel, so yeah, there's your excuse for you. Anyway, on with the review. So, The Last Jedi. Have I seen it? Well, duh! This video wouldn't even exist if I hadn't seen it. Gosh! Did I like it, though? Well, let's put it simply. I freaking love this movie, man! It was so amazing, I can't even tell you! I'm still shaking right now, it was so good! Yeah. So yes, I love The Last Jedi. It was absolutely incredible. When I left the theater, I was just shaking. And I'm still shaking now. This movie exceeded my expectations by miles, and I spent the journey home just processing what I had just witnessed, and then just non-stop talking about it, and I probably won't be able to stop talking about it for a good while. The first thing I really want to talk about is the plot of this movie, because I know a lot of people were worried that this would be too similar to The Empire Strikes Back in its plot structure. It really wasn't. This film surprised me in so many ways with the way it went about telling its story. I was not expecting the story to be told in the way it was told in this film. So rejoice, worried fanboys and fangirls. It isn't a complete rehash of other films. It's a fresh and original story that, like I said before, surprised me. I would even say that this is nothing like any of the previous Star Wars movies that I've seen before. Yeah, there are references to the other films and little Easter eggs here and there, which, by the way, are really effective in terms of nostalgia, but on the whole, this movie feels like something completely new. It expands upon the things we already know about this universe and takes those things to new places, in effect deepening the mythology of Star Wars, and it was done masterfully. Rian Johnson, the director of this film, has done an amazing job with this movie. In fact, that's an understatement, but still. He clearly has a knack for filming brilliant action sequences, and his style of humour is ever present throughout this film, and yes, The Last Jedi, similar to The Force Awakens, is a very funny movie. All the jokes hit for me, and there are quite a few jokes where I went from just chuckling to just downright dying. I was pleased to see that none of these jokes felt like they were at the expense of the characters. Even the references to other films in this saga don't feel like they're references purely just to reference the other films. They all serve a purpose within the film's plot. None of the fan service feels like throwaway moments. Instead, it's cleverly used to question certain things that have already been established in the Star Wars universe, and the film has a very surprising and clever way of exploring those questions. Speaking of the characters, as per usual, they're all great here. Everyone is doing great performance-wise, and the characters couldn't be better. But it felt a lot more refreshing this time around, partly because of my criticisms with the ways in which the characters in Rogue One were characterized, and overall that film was populated by characters I just didn't really care about. But The Last Jedi has characters that you care about, and because you care about these characters, there is more tension when the action starts. Daisy Ridley is once again phenomenal as Rey. She stole the show in The Force Awakens, and she does so once again in this film. She is an incredible actress, particularly in the more dramatic scenes and even the action scenes. I think Rey as a character is just fascinating in the way she's developed in these films, and how her personal story is told throughout this movie, in particular, is just riveting. John Boyega is once again brilliant as Finn. You can tell how excited he is to be in these films just by the way he portrays Finn. He's very charismatic, funny, and he's clearly loving playing this character, which I think adds a lot of levity to his performance, and I do like a lot of the things they do with his character. Mark Hamill gives what is without a doubt his best performance as Luke Skywalker, and quite possibly his best performance of all time. This is not the Luke Skywalker we're used to seeing. He is a very conflicted and deeply damaged person, and the way in which he uses the pain in his eyes and the tone of his voice to express Luke's reluctance to confront his past or help Rey with the things she's dealing with is incredible. Watching Luke's journey is compelling not just because of the elements that go all the way back to the start of his journey, but also because of how different he is to when we last saw him and how much past events have affected him. Daisy Ridley and Mark Hamill play off each other really well, and what we get is something a hell of a lot more interesting than the average master-student relationship due to the expression of empathy and frustration for one another that elevates their chemistry to something truly magnificent. Let's talk about Carrie Fisher. So this is one of the celebrity deaths that actually had an effect on me because Carrie Fisher is one of my all-time heroes and I'll never forget her portrayal of Princess Leia, so seeing her final performance in this film was actually quite emotional. But she knocks it out of the park. She is by far the best part of the Resistance scenes and never fails to steal the show elsewhere as she constantly expresses a compassionate warmth and is never above some wry humour. Oscar Isaac is really fun as Poe, and he has a very interesting dynamic between himself and Laura Dern, who, by the way, is fantastic. And seeing these two constantly butt heads was pretty interesting because of their individual ideologies and their different methods of getting things done. And seeing those ideologies clash was, to me at least, one of the strongest elements of this film. There's also this side plot involving Finn and a new character called Rose, played by Kelly Marie Tran, going on a little adventure of their own to this casino-like planet that does shed light on a different kind of evil in this universe, which I thought was a nice touch. But it was also a pretty fun side plot, and I found myself really liking Rose, who is played excellently by Kelly Marie Tran. The action sequences in The Last Jedi are some of the best action in the entire Star Wars saga. In particular, anything, absolutely anything involving a lightsaber. The choreography is remarkable and feels very realistic, and it was so cool to see these action scenes unfold in what I would say are some of the best head-to-toe wide shots I have ever seen in film. The way the lightsaber fights are choreographed actually makes the Jedi and Sith seem like samurais, as a lot of the choreography feels like it came out of a Japanese film, or even an anime in some cases, and it all looks and feels so epic. The space battles and the ship-to-ship combat scenes are also incredible. They are arguably some of the best in the entire saga once again, and they contain some of the most epic moments and shots within the entire film. They are all really, 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 really good. And the same could be said for the immaculate blend between practical effects and CGI. One of the things I loved about The Force Awakens is how well the CG blended with the practical effects, and that is no different here. It all looks fantastic. Adam Driver continues to shine as Kylo Ren. He is one of my favourite villains of any film in recent memory, and in this film he has set the bar even higher. He is very compelling and gives a very, very strong performance. He's not your average villain. He's a very deep and conflicted character, and he never once feels like a typical villain. His story wasn't done yet. He was nowhere near ready or fully trained for that matter, and he has a very, very deep, angry emotion that really does shine in his performance, and that is why I would say that he has the potential to become an even greater villain than even Darth Vader. He is amazing in this movie, and his legacy is deepened in ways that I cannot even begin to put into words. Overall, I am really satisfied with what they did with all the characters in this film. Even Chewbacca has plenty of standout moments in this film, which I won't be forgetting anytime soon. Also, the Porgs. They are so freaking cute! They are fabulous, and they are in no way, shape, or form annoying. They are just adorable. And let's not forget about BB-8, who also has a lot of moments to shine, and I still love that little droid. And of course there are some truly spectacular sequences involving the Millennium Falcon, which are honestly breathtaking as well as awesome. John Williams' score for this movie is bloody fantastic this time around. I love what he did with the music in The Force Awakens, but I feel like he has improved upon it in this film, and to be really honest, any of his music just gives me goosebumps when it starts playing. Watching this movie, it was very evident that Rian Johnson understood a lot of the criticisms of all the preceding films, and it's almost like he knew what all the assumptions were going to be about this one, and he used that to his advantage when making this film. It really feels like he's used that knowledge to craft a story that absolutely shatters all expectations. This is a very different Star Wars movie when compared to what we've gotten in the past. There are still plenty of familiar elements, but the way in which those elements are utilised in this film alongside the new stuff results in what I can definitely say is an excellent Star Wars movie. I just can't tell you how much I loved this movie. The total runtime of this film, according to Google, is 2 hours and 33 minutes, and yet the film felt like it was over in 20, because there was never a moment or even a second that felt like it dragged on too long or didn't need to be in there. I actually forgot I was watching a movie altogether and just got engrossed in the experience. Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi is one of the best cinematic experiences I've had all year and quite possibly of all time. And I'm trying my best not to sound hyperbolic here, but it might just be the best Star Wars movie since The Empire Strikes Back. I'm definitely going to have to see this film again to fully make up my mind, but I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 anyway, purely because of everything I've just said in this review. So, guys, those are my thoughts on Star Wars The Last Jedi. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed the movie, and I recommend you stop what you're doing, just drop everything, get in your car, get a ticket for The Last Jedi, and go see it, okay? Just go see it now, alright? Just drop everything and just go see it, alright? Because it's amazing. But anyway, once again, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing a Force Awakens t-shirt. Yes, people, I like The Force Awakens. Sue me. So, yeah, alright. I'm gonna go now. Bye.